apologies. You never know after we have an event on a Saturday who's going to show up on Sunday. So I'm glad you took time out of your day to worship with us. Amen? And touch yourself on your chest and just say, I'm glad I'm here. How about say, I'm glad I woke up today? Amen? And we have a very quick word for you today that does tie actually in with what Elder Netta was talking, what it always does, but what you were talking about. And I think that sometimes if God led you to it, He will lead you through it. Amen. Doesn't always make sense what we're going through, but if He led you to it, He will lead you through it. Tell your neighbor, say, don't give up, boo. Don't give up. And if you're with me today, you say, Amen. And if you say, Amen, you get out of here in a timely manner. If you don't say, Amen, then we're going to stay here for a while because I don't know if you got it. So if you're with me, go ahead and say, Amen. Amen. So when I get on your street, you just preach with me. I'm not going to preach to you. I don't do that. But if we're a people of destiny, we need to be active or activate the destiny or the divine purpose that resides in us from the divine. Amen? I think sometimes being predestined for success doesn't necessarily make us successful because we haven't activated what is inside of us. Amen? We have to activate that which resides within us. You see, over the last few years, there's been a new foundation being laid at New Foundation. We have taught a change of mind from every angle that you can approach the change of mind. And you can't truly see purpose or live in purpose or activate your destiny with a broken frame of mind. Amen? Amen? And so much of the reason that many of us in the church, Pastor, much of the reason that many of us in the church live in a mental or emotional place of unrest is because we find ourselves in limbo. Are you with me? You see, we've tasted what's over here, but we haven't left what's over here because I can't give up what's over here even though I'm supposed to be over here. And sometimes we hold on to things that are only harmful for us. We should have let them go a long time ago. Come on now. I was here, but I tasted what was good over here, but I haven't quite moved away from this, so I find myself in unrest or limbo. And God is calling us into a future or our destiny, but we have become comfortable with the brokenness. You ever been around someone that complains every time that you see them? Amen. Oh yeah. They have something negative to say. Amen. Every time you see them. Every time you scroll past their Facebook, you're going to see something negative. I'm talking to somebody. You know, if it's not your neighbor, it's probably you. I stalk all y'all on Facebook, so don't worry. It's only so I can pray, trust. Once you begin to see where God is leading you, your past will never look the same to you again. Where you were in your journey, you need to hear this. Where you were in your journey was good for that day. And don't forget that. Because it's part of your past. And that's projecting you into your destiny or your future. This is why Jesus tells the lame man at the pool of Bethesda, He doesn't just say, get up. He said, get up and take your bed. Because the bed that you were bound to is going to be a reminder that you're no longer bound by those things. It will be a reminder to you that you're delivered from those things. It will be a reminder to you that you're better than that circumstance. It will be, I'm talking to somebody, it will be a reminder to you of those that turn their back on you. It will be a reminder to you of the haters in your journey. It will be a reminder to you of how big and bad you really are. As a people, we have lived in products, or as a product of our environments. It's like Proverbs 23:7 says, as a man thinketh, so he is. What you think about you is the reality to you. It may not be reality, but it's your reality. We've spent most of our lives trying to fit in. Come on, I'm talking to somebody. From the car we drive, the first thing, you like it? I don't even know if you like it. You're not driving it. I'm driving it. I like it. You know, I don't like the ugly color lime green. You see somebody lime green, good for you, boo. But I don't want it. Come on, I'm talking to somebody. We spend most of our lives trying to fit in, and we weren't made to fit in. We were made to stand out.
Amen. Amen.
Today I believe that someone needs to hear this. This is what God gave me, and it ties into what both of you talked about. If God led you here, He will bring you through what here is. You're not understanding. So if I had a topic today, it would be if God led you to it, He will see you through it. Come on, I'm talking to somebody. Many of us have followed what we believe is the voice of the Lord, and just before we cross into the place of inheritance or the place of blessing, we give up because we didn't see it in the time that we wanted to see it. We were looking for something different than what we thought was supposed to be, and so we give up on things instead of seeking the divine about things and asking the divine that resides within itself to manifest itself. Because sometimes we don't want to hear the truth. The truth can be very liberating, but sometimes we don't want to hear it. One of the hardest things that ever happened to me is my belief system. Because I didn't want to hear that most of the things that I had been raised with are not even biblical. Nor are they historical. And I'm not referring to Savior, I'm referring to a lot of the mess that we grew up with. Judging people, condemning people, trusting people. I love you, I don't have to trust you. Just hear what I'm saying. People will show you who they are. When they show you who they are, Maya Angelou said, believe them. We want them to be what we want them to be, but they're not what we want them to be. They are who they are. And when someone shows you who they are, believe them. It didn't say hate them. It didn't say talk about them. It just said believe them. They're showing you what they're really made of. I'm not referring to a mistake. I'm referring to hatred. I'm referring to someone who deliberately does something to harm you. I'm referring to people that said they were your friend, and next thing you know, they're stabbing you in the back. Because the scripture says a friend loveth at all times. So I can count on my hand how many people I know that truly love me. I'm talking to somebody. Just before we cross into our inheritance or our blessing, we give up. Just before we step into our blessing or the increase that God has in store for us. Because we've stopped looking with our spiritual eyes in the divine that resides within us. Jesus said the kingdom of God, the basileia of God, resides within you. And so if the basileia of God is residing within inside you, that means integrity, virtue, royal power. That means knowledge. If that is lying within inside you, understand that the Lord did not bring you here to give you up or let you die. He came to bring you a mighty long way. You're not understanding what I'm saying. Touch your neighbor and say, "Boo, if God led you to it, He will see you through it." When I was studying that this week, one of the things that reminded me of, and we've talked about it several times, is that the woman that had the issue of blood. And she had done everything for many years to try to get healed. She spent every dime she had. She sought out every guru, every voodoo, every hoodoo, everything that she could possibly do to get healed of that thing. And finally she came across a man named Yeshua. And she came to him. And you understand that she wasn't supposed to get near him because she had an issue of blood. And if you had an issue of blood, you weren't allowed near people. But she said, "I'd be damned if you hold me back, because I know that my blessing is in front of me. It's definitely not behind me. My blessing is in front of me." And so she pressed her way to her blessing. She pushed her way to the... Sometimes there needs some pressing in your life. There needs to be some pushing in your journey. There needs to be some letting go of people in your journey. Sometimes you need to tell your friend, we can still be friends through a fence, but I don't trust you because you've been holding me back like the crowd. But now I'm pushing myself through the crowd. I'm pushing myself to my blessing. I'm pushing myself to my inheritance. I'm pushing myself where God is calling me. Because God says, the scripture says, the deep calleth unto the deep. The deep things of God are before you, not behind you.
Yeah. You better teach. Go ahead now. Word.
There's a scripture. Pastor Brett, would you read for us? Tell them where it is, because I don't know.
In Exodus chapter 14, starting from verse 10. And when Pharaoh drew near, the children of Israel lifted their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians marched after them, so they were very afraid. the children of Israel cried out to the Lord. They said to Moses, because there were no graves in Egypt, have you taken us away to die in the wilderness?
So instead of just trusting where the divine is leading you, because things aren't comfortable in your journey, we begin to accuse God. We begin to accuse the blessing. We begin to look at the blessing in front of us as though it was something very negative in our journey. But sometimes it's not negative. Sometimes we've sought God out enough and we've matured enough in our journey to where God is releasing us from the bond of Egypt. He's releasing us from the bond of a bad friendship. He's releasing us from the bond of a bad job. He's releasing, you don't understand what I'm saying. But sometimes we don't see it as a release. Sometimes we see it as a curse. But God has said, you're mature enough now to face the truth. And the truth is, you're better than this Egypt thing. You're better than what they held you down with. You're better than those people that treat you the way they treat you. You're better than the way you treat you. Come on, read.
Why have you so dealt with us to bring us up out of Egypt? Is this not the word that we told you in Egypt, saying, let us alone, that we may serve the Egyptians? For it would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than that we should die in the wilderness.
Sometimes I say, maybe if you didn't deliver me from the crack, maybe I was better off on Skid Row. Sometimes I was maybe better off just being a midnight booty call. I'm sorry, we got children here, I apologize. But sometimes instead of being a 2 a.m. lover, you felt better being a 2 a.m. lover because at least you weren't alone all the time. But sometimes God said, if you'll be alone for just a second, I'll send you to where you're supposed to be and who you're supposed to be with. But you don't love you enough to respect you enough. And so sometimes God is saying, it's not a disguised blessing. It's right in front of your face. I'm blessing you. I'm leading you. I've always been there for you. And I will always be there for you. But you see it as a danger. You see it as a curse. But it's a blessing in your journey.
Amen.
Go ahead and read.
And Moses said to the people, do not be afraid.
Don't be scared.
Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord.
Notice he didn't say sit down.
Right?
Because sometimes we just sit. But he said stand. And if you read through the scripture, there's purpose in every time the scripture says stand. It says when you've done all that you can do in your situation to stand, then stand therefore. And God will show up and show out in your journey. The Egyptians you see today, you will never see again. This is the Lord talking to them. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still.
Amen.
And sometimes being still doesn't mean laying in the bed and letting your mind race.
Craziness, right?
Come on, I'm talking to somebody. If you listen, the Lord will not only lead you to it, He will lead you through it. But if you listen to the voice, oh, you know the voice. He will not only lead you, the scripture says He will provide protection all the way. But sometimes we see the enemy coming at us so strong that we forget how strong we are. And the one thing I don't get, we're going to stop reading there, Pastor. The one thing I don't get, and it used to be in my journey, and I'm just going to share this for free. What I don't get about people who claim to be believers, I don't call myself a Christian, I just call myself a believer, I follow Christ. I don't follow Jesus. It just comes with a negative connotation. But I'm not anti that either. You don't have to be anti something to be pro something else. That's the problem with people. But the one thing I never understood is that the same God that has always led you, that has always protected you, that has always cared for you, that was in the hospital room with you, that was in, I'm talking to somebody, that was through your heartache, the same God is with you today. And He's still bigger than your circumstance. Think about the worst situation in your life that you've ever been through previous to where you are today. And you're still here. You're still here. You made it through. And sometimes the storm seems so big that we feel like this is finally it. I'm not going to make it. But the truth of the matter is, when you begin to seek the truth, the divine God, when you begin to seek the divine Himself, the truth begins to reveal itself. And sometimes we don't want to see truth for what it is. Don't worry about somebody else's journey. That's what the church has a bad problem of doing. Instead of revealing self to self, we want to expose everyone else. Pray for them, love them, don't talk about them and shun them. If you're conversating about them, then you're not over the pain yourself. So, like she said today, forgiveness, and Pastor said this as well, we forgive, love. And forgiveness is not for the other person. It's for you. Amen. Is this a good word? Are we okay? Come on, stand to your feet if you would. So the ending of that story, the Egyptians pursued Israel all the way up to the end where the sea was. And at the sea, come on, whatever your sea is in your journey, whatever the storm is in front of you in your journey, whatever it is, come on, let them right to it. And again they begin to complain and murmur. Sometimes God's leading you out of a bad situation, and all you can see is the pain. But the reality is the blessing was in front of them. And if you allow God to be God, if they would have turned around and fought with their haters, because that's what we do. We fight with our haters. We fight with the enemy. But instead of just facing where God is leading us. And when they faced where God was leading them, God took care of the rest. Because they stepped out on faith. Look at your neighbor, chin tack or not, say, we'll step out on Faith Street.
Step out on Faith Street.
Just a real quick announcement. It's Shelby's birthday today. And they do have, there's an event going on the patio. They were doing it later today, but they're raising money for the community, and they're kind of doing it Cinco de Mayo style, selling tamales. And if you choose to participate, help yourself, tamales, tacos, and what have you, you know, Cinco de Gringo. But let's pray. How many had a good time today? And bring your friends and family back next week, and let's pack the house in Jesus' name. Father God, we thank you for this day, Lord. We thank you for your spirit. We thank you for knowledge, God. We thank you for leading and guiding us into all truth for your name's sake, God. We pray a hedge of protection around those that are not here today and those that are here. Father God, everything the enemy meant for their bad, we bind in the name of Yeshua, Jesus. And we thank you for what you're yet to do in our destiny and our purpose, God. We bless you in Jesus' name. And the people said,